Hello and welcome to Inside 10's Football's practice facility. I'm Ryan Sylvia. This is Noah Taylor, and we're with VolReport.com on the Rivals Network. And as we count down to Tennessee's trip to Norman to face Oklahoma, we talked with two assistants, linebackers coach William Inge, running backs coach Darrell Sims, and a handful of players. So let's jump right into our thoughts, starting with you, Noah.
Yeah, Darrell Sims, obviously an interesting one to talk to today after the game that Tennessee had running the ball. Obviously, Dylan Sampson, again, the headliner for Tennessee, had the 4 touchdowns, fourth straight game for him running for over 100 yards. But ask him about Deshaun Bishop and a guy that's getting a lot of talk lately, a lot of buzz, because of Cam Seldon's situation and how much he's going to get in the game, how much he's getting in that rotation. Ask him, do they feel more comfortable now about getting him in games like this at Oklahoma than maybe they did at the beginning of fall camp? He said there's just really nothing he does anymore that surprises them. I think there's a lot of confidence there from the coaching staff. And he said it's not so much our confidence in him, it's his confidence that's been growing. And I think that bodes really well for Tennessee as we kind of wait and see what that rotation looks like when and if Cam Seldon gets back to full health. But obviously a guy that I think this coaching staff is starting to trust on more, which is good for Tennessee.
And on the linebacker side of things, Tennessee's had some good production there. Keenan Pili's been really solid in his kind of first 3 real games after he kind of played a half against Virginia last year. And then Aaron Carter, I feel like he's complemented Keenan Pili really well, and William Inge agreed. He said that they really match up well with each other. And then when you get guys like Jeremiah Thielander in the mix and guys like Jalen Smith, who's kind of not been talked about a lot, but another guy that William Inge talked really positively about in the contributions that he's given Tennessee through 3 games, but also Edwin Spillman, a guy that hasn't necessarily or hasn't played at all in the first 2 games, and then he makes his debut going in against Kent State, and William Inge talked about how there wasn't any hey, you're going in next drive. It was kind of right before that unit went out on the field. He kind of patted Edwin Spillman on the back of the helmet essentially and was like, all right, you're in to go. So there's no thinking about it, but that he played really well and that they've really liked what they've seen from him as he's progressed throughout camp and up until the start of the season, and that it was a really positive first showing for Edwin Spillman as he gets his college career started. Let's flip it to players though. What did you think about what they said?
Yeah, getting to talk to Cooper Mays today was interesting because obviously a guy that's played a lot of football here, played in a lot of road games here as well, and obviously a lot going into this, and it's not really a normal road game for Tennessee given the backstories and all that leading up to it, but also their first SEC game this season. And again, a guy that's been in some road environments that are tough. Obviously Tennessee's had some struggles on the road under Josh Heupel. There's usually that one game a year where you go to South Carolina in 2022, last year at Florida, where you kind of just unexpectedly struggle in a loud environment. He downplayed that a little bit, I thought, when asked if there's communication issues in the past or what's kind of led to that. But, I think it's really interesting how this team's going to handle this. You obviously got a lot of young guys, particularly on that defense. We got a lot of veterans, too, that have been here before. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that. But Cooper Mays and even Amari Thomas as well seem pretty confident in their ability to handle that and trying to I know they've talked about it a lot this week since Saturday night, trying to treat this as any other game. I think if that is your approach, I think that'll really help them and not making it bigger than it is.
I do think that you can't point to some games though that they played well in a loud environment. LSU in 2022, they went in, and maybe before a lot of LSU fans even found their seat, they jumped out pretty early and kind of neutralized that. But even when you look at last year, Alabama, that first half, you really couldn't ask for a much better showing, and then things kind of went off the rails in the second half and you end up losing. But even 21 Alabama, Tennessee played pretty well at night in Tuscaloosa. So there are some things you can point at. I don't think Kentucky's one of the premier atmospheres in the SEC necessarily, but Tennessee's had no issue playing there. But you're right, they have had games like Florida and some other situations where it is South Carolina, especially where it is a little head scratching what the difference was from one week to the next. So we'll have to see if maybe this is an improvement. Cooper Mays talks about Nico as well, kind of being that laid-back type of guy, and that he thinks that'll help in a type of ruckus environment, and that they have confidence in him that he will be able to handle that well, because this really will be his first road test. The only other time he's had to kind of deal with any crowd noise is probably that NC State game in Charlotte, but with the crowd kind of split in half, I don't think either side really felt the full effect of kind of a fan base getting on top of you like they will at Oklahoma. On the defensive side of things, talked to 2 defensive linemen, Jackson Moyer, Amari Thomas, and I thought it was interesting that they talked about how there's still a lot of room for improvement. They understand how good this unit's been, and they haven't let a team in the end zone, and all of that. But at the same time, they talk about kind of the fine details is what they need to improve on. You look at the total body of work and you give it a thumbs up, and you come off the field and you feel good. But then once they watch the film, that's when they kind of start to see little things here and there that they think they can clean up and kind of reach another level. And I mean, Tennessee's defense line is playing at a really high level right now. So if there is another level that they can reach, that'll definitely be something to watch as Tennessee progresses this season. The next test, though, Oklahoma, banged up offensive line. We'll see if they get some guys back. We'll see what that looks like on Saturday. But Tennessee's defensive line could definitely be an X factor in that matchup. If you want to stay up to date on everything you need to know heading into that game, and also on game day in Norman, head over to VolReport.com. We'll have all the coverage you need. Links to everything you need is in the description. Thank you for watching.